Ahoy there, cruise nerds! Welcome aboard to my channel, DCL Cruise Nerds. My name is Megan and I am your host. Today we will be going into how I think Disney Cruise Line will look different once they start sailing again with guests. But before we get into that, let's sail away into some updates. Alright, cruise nerds, let's talk about some of those updates I have mentioned. The first update actually comes from Thomas Maslum, who is the president of Disney Signature Experiences. Now, he sent a video message last Friday to all the Castaway Club members for Disney Cruise Line. He was wishing everyone a happy holiday season and a happy new year, and how he is very excited to see everyone back on board in the coming year. Now, another mention that he said in that video is that he hopes to share some updates in the coming weeks after he has his meetings with the CDC. So hopefully those updates are good ones and very soon. Now, another update is that Disney Cruise Line actually announced more itineraries for late April and May 2022. Now, this itinerary release is for the Disney Dream and Disney Fantasy. These itineraries are 3 nights, 4 nights, and also 7-night itineraries to the Bahamas, Eastern, and Western Caribbean sailings. So if you are ready to book one of those sailings, go ahead and book them now while they're available. Now, another update is that the Disney ships have been very busy the last few days. Starting with the Disney Magic. She has been changing her spot around a little bit, but very close to Port of Dover. She was sailing some more sea trials, and now she is officially docked back in Dover, maybe getting some more crew, maybe getting more merchandise before she sets back to Port Canaveral. And I hope she gets to sail real soon. Now, the Disney Fantasy, she was actually just at Castaway Key not too long ago, and she was actually in Port Canaveral yesterday getting some touch-up paint and also maybe getting some fuel. Now, the Disney Wonder and Disney Dream, they're switching places. So the Disney Wonder is actually just freshly new from Castaway Key, and I believe she was getting some crew members trained, maybe dropping off some more merchandise, maybe letting the crew have a day at Castaway. So there's a lot of speculation there. Now, the Disney Dream, she is actually on her way right now to Castaway Key, possibly doing the same thing. So I'm very excited that they are getting possibly ready for test cruises, possibly. I'm not saying that there is, but possibly some test cruises, as well as getting ready for March when Disney Cruise Line hopefully is setting sail again. Now, there are only 2 days left until Christmas, so maybe there might be an announcement from Disney Cruise Line. If there is, I will be very, very happy. That will be the best Christmas present ever from Disney Cruise Line. So like I mentioned, 2 days left till Christmas, and hopefully some very good news. Let's get right into the main focus of today, cruise nerds. How Disney Cruise Line will look differently when they are back up and sailing. Now, these thoughts and opinions are my own. Disney Cruise Line has yet to announce anything to the general public. So fingers crossed that they will announce something very soon. Now, for the most important piece of your vacation, you will need the Disney Cruise Line Navigator app. Now, it seems like as of late, they have been updating the app more frequently than they have in the past. So I'm thinking that they are definitely getting some updates in there, and some of the updates that I am thinking that it will include that the app will include Key to the World card, getting into your room for any purchases, for dining, everything that you have to do with your Key to the World card, as well as for possible meet and greets, for pre-reserving those, as well as pre-reserving activities that they do offer around the ship, as well as reserve seating for any Broadway style shows, as well as first run Disney movies. Very similar to the My Disney Experience app that you use over in the theme parks. Now, prior to the cruise shutdown in March 2020, I've had a few experiences that they already started pre-shutdown. Now, the first one that I experienced was actually up in Cabanas. You no longer did self-serve. There was a crew member there where the food was offered, and they actually gave you the food that you wanted. You tell them what you'd like, and they would put it on the plate for you. Now, something that I think would definitely be beneficial, I would say, to cruising, or at least in the cabanas, is you could go to your table depending on the party size, and then there will be a QSR code there that you can scan through the app and then order the food that you want, and a server and or crew member will bring it over to your table. So that will be something to really see Disney Cruise Line try. I don't think, I hope that it will be successful if they do offer something of the sort for the guest on board. Now, some other experiences that I have had on board the ship pre-shutdown, one of them was for the 24-hour drink station up on deck. Now, in the past, what you could do is you could take your personal cup and then get the drink you want, and then you would be set to go. Now, what they did halfway during the cruise was they had a crew member there blocked off with the drink station, and you told them what you would prefer to drink. Now, when I was on board, the crew member did see that I had my Tervis cup, and of course I understood that I couldn't hand him my cup, but of course he did explain to everyone else that for sanitation reasons he could not accept your personal cup and or mug. But he did give you brand new cups with the drinks to, of course, fill up your personal one. And you, of course, could step up to the side and fill that up. Now, another experience that I had was with the ice creams. It was a similar situation like the drink station. And, of course, there was a crew member there that was blocked off with the ice cream. And then, of course, he would give you the ice cream cone of your flavor choice. So that was definitely something that kudos to Disney Cruise Line for going ahead and taking those safety measures into place pre-shutdown. And I hope they continue that once they start up and running. Now, for our beloved muster drill. Now, for the muster drill, I know this was one of the most annoying parts of your vacation, but I have seen a lot of guests saying on social media how they miss the muster drill. They would do anything to do the muster drill. So I am thinking that possibly in your stateroom on the day of embarkation, you will have to watch a safety video of some sort. And then at the end of that safety video, you would then hit the acknowledge button. And then after that, you would then go find your muster station. And then you would check in with the crew member with your Key to the World card or with the Navigator's app, saying that you know the safety procedures and where to go in case of an emergency. So I really think that would be a plus on that side to kind of save some time, and you can enjoy as much as you can while on vacation. So that would be a game changer there. Now, for dining on Disney cruises, this is something that Disney Cruise Line is well known for, is the rotational dining. Now, I believe that you will still have the rotational dining on board. Now, one thing that will definitely change 100% hands down will be that you will dine with just your family and family only. Now, when meeting other guests at that table is going to be unlikely, at least to begin with, until this pandemic is in order. Now, tables will be socially distanced, and one restaurant This restaurant is on the Disney Dream and Disney Fantasy. It is called Enchanted Garden. Now, in Enchanted Garden, once you enter, you will see 12 booths, 6 in the front and 6 in the back. Now, there will be plexiglass at the back of that booth, so they can definitely utilize those booths during your vacation. Now, the reason why I know this is because there is actually a photo roaming the World Wide Web. So that is definitely a plus there. I really love those booths, so I'm glad that they will be able to use them. Now, how they will do the spacing at those booths, hopefully they get to use every one, but maybe they will be using every other one. And then also another thing that they could do with the dining is that they could be using the Navigator's app for this. So they could be calling you to dinner via your last name, your table number, or also a section that you are sitting at. Now, with this idea, or possibly just a theory, is to alleviate the crowds that form outside of the restaurant. Now, I have seen these crowds form outside the restaurant, especially Animator's Palette on the Disney Dream and Disney Fantasy. There's always a long queue going to Animator's Palette Deck 3 aft. So that will definitely be a plus if they maybe have something similar to that theory. Now, in regards to entertainment, I also feel that the Navigator's app is going to come into major play into this. Now, one theory while you're on the cruise is for that particular show that day, you would pre-reserve your seats for your family. So depending on how many family members are on that cruise, you would select them and then select where you want to sit in the theater. Now, if you have more than one stateroom, I'm not 100% sure how that would work, but it could be a theory if your reservations are linked together. So that would be a plus. Now, another theory would be is that similar how they do in the parks for their theater style shows is have a few seats together and then a few seats that say do not sit here for social distancing. So that would be another theory that they could do. Now, that would also go for the first run Disney movies, even if you are on a theme sailing or if you're just on a regular sailing going to see a movie. So I definitely think that would be a plus. That would alleviate that line as well, especially if you're doing character meet and greets. Also, one last thing in the entertainment area. Now, for fireworks, this is mainly happening on Pirates of the Caribbean deck party night. So depending on which itinerary you're on, I don't think fireworks will be happening at least for the first couple of months. Just so they can have an idea what the crowds look like while on the cruise. Just so they can see how they can social distance everyone while on your cruise. Now, for port adventures, I believe Disney Cruise Line is definitely going to keep an eye on this very carefully and very seriously. You will most likely be in a Disney bubble on this port adventure. Also, you will not be able to privately book your own port adventures outside of Disney Cruise Line, and you will have to stay in this Disney bubble. Now, if you violate this Disney bubble, you will probably be asked to leave the ship. Now, I hope that there's nobody that does that. So fingers crossed that everyone follows that Disney bubble. Now, when it comes to Castaway Key and those port adventures, I hope that it's a little bit different in the Disney bubble rules, since Castaway Key is a Disney private island. But of course, things are, of course, up in the air at this point in time. Now, another area that is beloved by all ages, not just by kids, is, of course, the beloved Disney characters. Now, for these characters, there will be a great chance that there's not going to be free roaming characters walking about by themselves. You will probably have to pre-reserve a character meet and greet, for example, with Mickey Mouse, Minnie, Princess Cinderella, so on and so forth. You would probably have to pre-reserve this either through the online check-in process before you go on the cruise, or that same day on the Disney Cruise Line Navigators app. And of course, it will be socially distanced, just like in the parks. And also, another area for character meet and greets is the autographs. I know those autographs are definitely for those memories that you will have cherished down the road. But to begin with, I don't believe that there will be any autographs. So that's pretty much it on characters. Now, in regards to the embarkation process. Now, in times past, there was a little bit more of a relaxed rules and regulations to this, but there's going to be a lot of changes, if any. First off, I believe concierge and also Platinum Castaway Club members will definitely be getting a time window to arrive at the port, especially since there are so many Castaway Club members. Now, with these arrival windows, regardless of which category of Castaway Club membership you're in or concierge level, they will be more strict in this. Meaning, if your time window is from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock to arrive at the terminal, then that's when you have to arrive. If you arrive early, then they will possibly turn you away. As in the cruise terminal, when you arrive and after you get through security and bag check, I believe that there will be areas where you are allowed to stand and you cannot go that far in regards to being in the immediate family, and also making sure that you stay socially distanced. Now, another area is, at least at Port Canaveral, there is a lot of guests, and myself included, that is very excited to get onto the ship and start your cruise vacation. Now, one thing in the terminal is they're probably not going to allow you to hover where they allow guests with boarding groups hover, because it does attract large crowds, and they, of course, need to follow the CDC guidelines. So that will definitely be something very strict. Now, in that case, that is all for the embarkation process. Now, for the disembarkation process, there's not going to be much changes to this, with one exception possibly. Now, I have experienced this once before at a different terminal aboard the Disney Magic. Now, when I was on the Disney Magic on one of my sailings out of Miami, they actually called you by your luggage tag that you received the night before disembarking. Now, if you are in section Daisy Duck Orange, then when they call Daisy Duck Orange, then that is when you are allowed to go off the ship. And if, of course, you're in Tinkerbell Green, then that's when you are allowed to get off the ship. Just so they can keep the crowds down and make sure that they are following the guidelines set in place. So I think that would be an easier process instead of everyone trying to get off at once. Now, my final thoughts are this, that these procedures and protocols will not last forever, okay? If all of you can be very hopeful and can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and we will get back to some kind of new normal. And this means we can get back to cruising, we can get back to the crew members that we know and love and that we see as family. And we can get back to Neverland. To the Neverland that we don't have to worry about growing up and having to face reality. Now, as long as we have hope, Also, as long as we have faith, trust, and pixie dust, there's no doubt that we will be back to cruising very soon. Alright, cruise nerds, thanks for watching. If you haven't done so, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below, as well as follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and also Twitter for more breaking news and updates. But before I let you go, one last little bit of information. If you are planning your next Disney cruise getaway, visit my friends over at Tink's Magical Vacations Travel Agency. There is 2 ways you can visit them. You can either give them a call at 1-833-88-TINKS, or you can visit their website at tinksmagicalvacations.com. I hope everyone has a great holiday season. Happy New Year. Everyone have faith, trust, and pixie dust, and I'll see you real soon on board.